So, yes, we are back. We are back. Is this podcast number 4 for this edition of the Worst Wrestling Podcast? Yes, there's a name to this podcast. It's called The Worst. Like, this is literally the worst. If you think this podcast is bad, yes, I'm calling it The Worst Wrestling Podcast. You think you find bad podcasts like Wrestle Crap and all that garbage, but no, this is the worst podcast. So you're listening to the worst wrestling podcast ever in wrestling podcast history with myself, and eventually we'll get a co-host in here. We'll get special guests coming in. Royal Rumble possibly, maybe not. This week there's a ton of stuff I've watched. There's a ton of stuff for me to review. We got Raw. Just a bunch of stuff that happened on Raw this past week. We got SmackDown, couple notes happened on SmackDown to lead into Raw. Some more WWE Network stuff. Wrestlemania matches. What the matches we think of as of today. They're building towards to. I'll be reviewing. I watched the January 11th episode of the ROH TV. Kevin Steen versus Chris Hero was the main event. I have some New Japan Pro Wrestling to talk about. I watched the New Japan for CMLL shows, telling you if you want to go check that out, which show to watch out of the 3. There was 3 different shows. I believe there was 5 days, but they only aired 3 of the days on Ustream for $15 a piece. And it was well worth that, but I'll talk about that. And I also watched 3 shoot interviews this week. Jim Cornette's shoot interview with Breaking Kayfabe, talking about Ring of Honor. The Kevin Steen Hell Rising DVD that I recently got, that I recently watched. It was kind of compatible with the Jim Cornette shoot. The Kevin Steen shoot talks about just from 2010 to 2013. And the AJ Styles shoot, Leaving Impact, a shoot that many people wanted to see, and I'll be giving a full review on that. Possible spoilers in that one when we get to that, but that will be the whole podcast. So there's your recap of what we're talking about today. So if you want to skip over anything, you can do so, because we'll be going in that order of how I told you. So let's get this thing started. So Monday Night Raw happened this past week. The big news was the return of Dave Batista. Pretty much Triple H, Stephanie came out, was going to introduce Batista, the returning Batista, but then you get Randy Orton coming out. Randy Orton's been looking for Triple H and Stephanie for an entire week. Since last week, they haven't been on Raw, so 2 weeks. And pretty much he wants to know why he has to face Cena, why does he have to defend the title, and they want to know how he lost to Kofi Kingston last week and beat an elderly man, not John Cena's dad, an elderly man, as they keep saying. Then they happen to mention John Cena will be attacking you, but they never once mentioned John Cena Sr. And then all of a sudden, Batista came out just randomly out of nowhere. Fireworks came off, the machine guns went out, and his promo pretty much consists of, I'm back to win the Rumble, to main event WrestleMania, and it doesn't matter if you're the champion, John Cena the champion, whoever's the champion, I'm facing the champion in WrestleMania, I'm going to win that belt back. And that was it. Next segment, surprisingly, we got Daniel Bryan in the next segment. Daniel Bryan, what did he do? Pretty much cut a promo calling out Bray Wyatt, and is supposedly medically clear. Last week we heard he got a concussion, but I guess he's fine, because he will be wrestling Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble. We also had the Brock Lesnar and Big Show confrontation that happened on this past week. Pretty much Brock Lesnar came out. Sorry. What happened? Was it Brock Lesnar that came out? I believe Big Show came out. And then Brock Lesnar came out after. And then two faced off with each other. Big Show was calling out Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar got in Big Show's face. Big Show flinched. You don't realize how tall Big Show is to Brock Lesnar when they're actually standing beside each other, because there is a gigantic difference between the size of Big Show and the size of Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar is 320 pounds and 6'3". They went face to face, and then Big Show just pummeled Brock Lesnar, threw him out of the ring. Brock Lesnar took a Dolph Ziggler style bump, flipping out of the ring onto the floor, destroying the announce table, getting a chair, throwing in the ring, throwing monitors in the ring, and then Brock Lesnar got out of there. So Brock Lesnar versus Big Show, since Big Show looks strong on Raw, obviously, to make you think that Big Show might have a chance against Brock Lesnar. Now on the pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar will destroy Big Show. And honestly, people think this match is going to be boring. I think this match is going to be fun, of two giants colliding. It won't be like the best technical match, but it's just fun to see. Even though I'm not clamoring to watch this match in any way, shape, or form, since it's there, it'll be nice to watch. We had CM Punk cut a promo on Kane because this past week on SmackDown, well, last week's episode of SmackDown, Kane came out and chokeslammed CM Punk because they were having an altercation on Raw, which led to SmackDown, which led to this week. Kane came out, apologized to Punk, and informed him that CM Punk will be the number one entrant into the Royal Rumble match. I believe this is either the first or second time. I remember Punk coming out, starting off the Rumble with Bryan one year. I remember him being in the early Rumble. I think it was 2010 where he came out and he kept throwing people over and cutting a promo on like the first 6 people, saying to them to join this. What was it? What was that group he called? The SCS. The something society. I have my computer right here. I don't know why. Anyways, I think Punk's one of those guys because I know Edge was one of those guys that they usually put in the Rumble early, so because they have a better memory to remember certain spots. I know Cody Rhodes is a guy that does that, so I think Punk is another one of those guys that's good at remembering spots, so they usually put them in the Rumble early and save them for a long time. That's why usually you see guys like Cody Rhodes, saw guys like Edge stayed for a long time. I think Orton's one of those guys too. Straight Edge Society, there you go. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Anyways, so I think Punk's one of those guys that could remember a lot. So I think he will definitely be in the Final 4, quite possibly in the Final 2. Just to stretch out that number 1 spot, because the past couple years, like majority of years, the number 1 guy usually stays in at least until the last 6. He definitely usually stays in until all the competitors are already in the Rumble, just to make it like extra long. But we got that. Then we had Del Rio and Rey Mysterio face off in a match. Del Rio beat Rey Mysterio on Raw last week. Then I believe Rey beat Del Rio on SmackDown, which led to Del Rio beating Rey on Raw. And after the match, Del Rio called up Batista pretty much. Well, not called him out, like cut a promo like he's been doing for the past couple weeks. Batista came out saying, "Oh, so you're talking all this garbage, eh?" And spine busted him. Batista bombed him, and that was that. And then the main event angle that we pretty much had on Raw was Randy Orton versus John Cena. And John Cena has been not on Raw all night, and they set up this camera in the back saying when John Cena arrives, we'll have first footage of this. So Randy Orton faces Kofi Kingston. He beats Kofi Kingston. No, he doesn't beat Kofi Kingston. He's in the match with Kofi Kingston. All of a sudden, they pander to the back saying John Cena's here. John Cena hasn't even appeared on camera yet. He then turns the corner, appears on camera, doesn't drive into the building with his car, drives all the way the furthest into the building, then get out of his car and run. And he's like fast walking. He's not really running. It's then when he turns the corner, then when he sees the camera, he starts running. He's wearing this neon glow in the dark shirt, promoting his new shirt. I don't know why. This is one of the worst wrestling shirts ever in wrestling history for a top guy. And comes in, and then he starts attacking Randy Orton. So technically, Randy Orton wins via disqualification because John Cena attacks Randy Orton during the match. Then they then brawl in the crowd, up the stairs, into the arena, like the foyer of the arena, to the outside. Randy Orton hits Cena. There's a random parked car in the front. He jumps in the passenger seat of the car, and the car takes off. He forgets his belt and everything. He's out of there. He forgets everything in the back. He's just in his knee pads, his trunks, and his boots. That's all he got on. And he's out of there. So Randy Orton escapes John Cena. John Cena then comes back in. He walks through the crowd, giving high fives. He even took a picture with someone, if you noticed that. Shaking people's hand, kissing babies. Walked all the way to the ring, did the whole salute thing, and that was the end of Raw. So he didn't cut a promo. He didn't say he was going to win the WWE Championship. He wasn't going to say he's going to avenge his father for attacking him last week on Raw. Nothing like that. It was just John Cena versus just John Cena beating up Randy Orton. That was it. So that was Raw for you. It was fun. It was a lot of stuff to build up, but it was like a really weird ending to Raw. If you want to end Raw, I thought Batista could have just ended Raw with the promo. You could even got Daniel Bryan to end Raw with the promo. You could even got Brock Lesnar, Big Show would have been better. But that Randy Orton versus John Cena match, it's not. No, I'm not really clamoring to watch it. The only reason I'm ordering the Royal Rumble is because the Royal Rumble is the most fun match to watch all year, and it is worth your $55. How are you not going to order the Royal Rumble? And this year I'm going to WrestleMania, obviously, so I am very interested on who's winning the Royal Rumble match, as of every year. But this year is much more important than any other year, because I will be seeing them live versus paying $70 on pay-per-view, which is not really $70 anymore. You're paying $60 if you buy on the network, which leads into the network. WWE Network, no news has really come out yet, except Steve Breach asking a question on Observer Radio. Go check that out. If every pay-per-view will be on the WWE Network, and like they told him on when I talked to him last week, every pay-per-view will be on there. So if any pay-per-view you own from WWE, WCW, or ECW footage that is pay-per-view only, not Raws and SmackDowns, because there won't be every single Raw, every single SmackDown. There'll be certain episodes probably posted on there as due requested throughout the time of the network. But as for Raw, SmackDown, as for pay-per-views of those three companies, every single pay-per-view in existence of those three companies will be available at a click of a button. So get your DVDs, throw them in the trash because there's no use for them anymore. No, if you have DVDs, keep them. It's just fun to collect. I'm way too deep in to get out of DVD collecting anyway. And I enjoy collecting DVDs. Besides, I don't want to own a bunch of indie DVDs and not own any WWE, WCW, or WWF, or ECW, or Mid-South footage, or AWA, or Crockett, or what else have I got? Speaking of Blu-ray, one just fell off my shelf. I believe that was SummerSlam 2013. That's the second time that happened this week. By the way, I counted my Blu-rays the other day when I was organizing them. I had 62 WWE Blu-rays. It's a lot. I never realized that until now. And I'm 5 behind, so it should be 67. And by the time I actually catch up, there will probably be 3 more released, so I'll be up to 70 then. No, 3 I need, so I'll be up to 70 in my collection when I eventually have all of them. Which will just keep releasing even more. So WWE Network, same old thing. Everything's going to be on there. All the pay-per-views. Not all the Raws, not all the SmackDowns. They'll be live. For right now, we know that they'll show a 90-minute version. Like, not the official TV version, but a cut-down version of Raws. And possibly SmackDowns. And full episodes of Superstars and NXT. And probably a clip, like a shortened down version of Main Event. So as of right now, we have the Royal Rumble. For the matches for the Royal Rumble, we have the Royal Rumble match. We have the WWE Championship, John Cena versus Randy Orton. We have, what else do we have? We have Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. We have Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. And we have AJ Lee versus Naomi. And we also have, due to on SmackDown the New Age Outlaws being the Brotherhood, we have a pre-show match where the New Age Outlaws will be facing the Brotherhood of Cody Rhodes and Goldust for the WWE Tag Team Champions. So will they become the 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions of the world, or WWF/WWE? Because they technically haven't been WWE Champions; they've been WWF Tag Team Champions of the world. I don't think that'll be the case, but if it does, then there's your build to the match at WrestleMania for Goldust versus Rhodes, which I still think they should have split those two apart. So what was that? 6 matches. We got Rumble match. We got the WWE Championship match. We got the Big Show Lesnar match. We got the Bryan match. We got the Women's Championship match, and then we got the Tag Team Title match. So for the Royal Rumble, I'll be doing a separate podcast for that. So that will be uploaded tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, it'll be uploaded on Thursday if you want to watch my Royal Rumble match preview. As for the other matches in the Royal Rumble, as of right now, I could see John Cena go up against John Cena beating Randy Orton, go to Elimination Chamber, Brock Lesnar facing John Cena Elimination Chamber, Brock Lesnar beating John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, going to WrestleMania. Or Randy Orton beating John Cena, Randy Orton retaining at the Elimination Chamber and going on to WrestleMania, or even John Cena retaining and going on to WrestleMania. I don't know, but the Brock Lesnar thing, I actually kind of believe that they could actually put the title on Brock Lesnar and actually get him to WrestleMania, and either possibly Batista versus Brock Lesnar, because if they do want to have a match with Batista, I think that Batista could come in. He could possibly win the Rumble. He could go on, have a feud with Del Rio, and then beat Brock Lesnar. And then since Brock Lesnar and then Batista eventually turn heel and join the Authority, and then the Authority has a new heel figure other than Randy Orton, and then we go from there. That could possibly well happen. Other matches I can see happening is Randy Orton keeping the title. Somehow Triple H gets the title. Daniel Bryan winning that Rumble. And we go on to WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. Then we have CM Punk. CM Punk win the Rumble. He beats Triple H next month, or Kane. And then he faces Randy Orton at WrestleMania and wins the title. There's so many random combinations to happen at WrestleMania. This is why it's the most unpredictable WrestleMania card as we speak of right now. It might be clear later down the line when we look back like, man, how do we not see that? But as of right now, I think this is the most unpredictable card as we see for WrestleMania 30. So for the AJ Lee Naomi match, I think AJ Lee will retain. They could quite possibly make Naomi win, and that'll be the end of Total Divas Season 2 of Naomi winning the Divas title. We also have... What else do we have? We have... Oh, Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. Easy win, Brock Lesnar. Bet the house on it, bet the farm on it. Brock Lesnar is beating Big Show. There's no way, shape, or form of Big Show beating Brock Lesnar. Bet anything you own, all the money goes on Brock Lesnar. What else is there? We got Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. If Daniel Bryan beats Bray Wyatt and wins the Royal Rumble the same night, that will be a huge accomplishment of winning the Royal Rumble match and then winning the Royal Rumble. It's happened before. Brock Lesnar beat Big Show in the opening match of the Royal Rumble 2003. He then went on to going on the number 30 spot and number 29 spot, I believe. Yes, number 29 spot, and winning the Royal Rumble. And Daniel Bryan opens the show, beats Bray Wyatt, and goes on and enters at number 29 or number 28, or finally someone actually winning on number 27, other than them saying number 27 has the most Royal Rumble winners. Because no one has won on the number 20 spot in how many years? It's probably been at least a decade, maybe more. But we have that. And then the tag team titles match. I think the Brotherhood will retain. I don't think they'll put the tag team titles on the New Age Outlaws. Then we have... That's pretty much it for WWE stuff. We covered pretty much everything. Raw, SmackDown, Network, WrestleMania. No really big news coming out of the WWE. But as of right now, that's all my WWE stuff. So 20 minutes, not bad. Try to keep this podcast in half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. What did we watch this week? Ring of Honor. Actually, CMLL. New Japan CMLL Fantastic Mania was day 1, day 4, and day 5 were available on Ustream for $15. The day 1, entertaining show overall, but it was worth the $15, but it wasn't as it was just a fun show to watch. It wasn't like nothing building towards anything. It was just Japanese wrestlers going up against lucha wrestlers, and then some of them tag teaming with one another. It was fun. For the Date 4 show, though, I think it was the best out of the 3 shows that were available to buy. There was a good tag team match, a couple good tag team matches. There was a 3-on-3 tag team matches with Okada, Tanahashi, Mystico. No, Mystico wasn't that. Mystico's in the main event. Sorry about that. Mystico went up for the title in the main event. That match was fun to watch. The 3-on-3 match was a great tag team match. There was a couple good tag team matches. And overall, that was I thought it was an excellent show overall for $15. And then the third day was just, it was like a pretty good show to watch for $15. So if you want to watch just random Japanese versus Lucha Libre wrestling with a lot of tag matches, because the day 1 had nothing but tag matches, and day 4 had a combination of singles matches and tag matches. I would go with the day 4 if you want to just randomly go watch something, but it won't be available till it's only available till January 26th for you to buy. Once that's over, they just take out the VOD. So if you don't buy it and watch it by then, it's kind of pointless of doing, and then you could just try to find it somewhere else to watch. I'm not condoning you to find it somewhere else, but I'm saying if you don't order after that, you're going to have to try to look somewhere else because it's unavailable for you to pay for. So if you want to go watch some random wrestling, my show for this week to watch is New Japan CMLL Fantastic Mania Day 4 with the main event of Mystico in it, and the 3-on-3 tag team match was pretty damn good. And there was one part where one of their managers was some Asian girl, and she's not like an ugly. She's not ugly, and she's wearing a dress, and she takes a move, and you're like, what's going on? Oh, she took a super kick. She took a super kick out of nowhere. She got a super kick, and then she took a tilt-a-whirl tilt-a-whirl backbreaker in a dress. And I was freaking marking like crazy, like, what's going on? What just happened? I thought, because a lot of people in the front row are semi-dressed up, so I thought it was just a random fan that took a super kick and then ate a tilt-a-whirl. Then I found out, like, oh, that was their manager. Just some cool wrestling. Like, a lot of stuff I marked out on. What else is there? Oh, Ring of Honor. So Ring of Honor posts their show. Like, it'll air on Saturday or Sunday, wherever you live. To Ringstar members only, it's available Monday. And then to the general public, for a week, it's available on Thursday. So you're technically like 1 week behind. So say last week's Ring of Honor episode, the episode on the 18th, won't be available till tomorrow. But the 11th show, which was available on the 16th, is available till tomorrow. So if you want to go check that out, the main event was Kevin Steen versus Chris Hero, and a pretty decent match between the two, and it's an unexpected win for a certain someone. Pretty much this was built up because Chris Hero wants a title shot because he's back in Ring of Honor. Kevin Steen comes out, cuts a promo saying, "You want a title shot? I still haven't gotten my title shot when I lost the title to Jay Briscoe back in April." So them two went at it at the main event, and a certain someone won, and I actually want you guys to go watch that match if you want to watch that match. And it was a pretty decent match, and it was about 20 minutes or so. So that's that. You can skip over the Prospect Tournament. I did not watch any of that. I just watched the promo, and I watched the main event. That was that. What else do we have this week? So next week, which is happened already on the 18th, is available tomorrow if you want to go watch that. But this week's Ring of Honor episode, which is the 25th, is the rematch between... Well, not rematch. It's a match between Jay Briscoe going up against Adam Cole for the Ring of Honor World title. No, not the Ring of Honor World title. Jay Briscoe's Ring of Honor World title. Because he called himself the real champion. He still technically hasn't been pinned for the title. and he has his own custom-made title, which is probably one of the coolest wrestling belts in wrestling today. If you haven't checked out this title, please go check out this title with Jay Briscoe's Ring of Honor Custom World Heavyweight Championship. So he'll be putting that title on the line on January 25th. January 25th, which is this week. Which will be available up at the 30th. So if you want to watch that, you get to wait till next Thursday if you don't have Ring of Honor on TV, or if you do, you can go DVR it. And AJ Styles will be returning in 3 weeks, but that was Saturday the 11th. So that means AJ Styles will be returning on the 1st of February. So that episode of Ring of Honor, AJ Styles, I believe, go up as AJ Styles goes up against Roderick Strong in the main event. So if you are AJ Styles fans, you'll be able to watch AJ Styles on February the 1st, which that episode will be available all the way till Thursday, February 6th. That's 2 weeks away. So that's that for Ring of Honor. Speaking of Ring of Honor, I watched the Kevin Steen Hell Rising shoot, and a lot of controversy in the shoot because supposedly, after listening to Jim Cornette does a show on MLW called the Jim Cornette Experience, and he did a shoot with kayfabe commentaries, and in that shoot he talks about. I watched the Jim Cornette shoot, Kevin Steen shoot, AJ Styles shoot. Let me talk about the Jim Cornette shoot first. He talks about TNA, the ends of TNA, when he left and everything, going into Ring of Honor, what he did in Ring of Honor, his side of the story for the what actually happened in Ring of Honor and why he was the one to take the blame, but it was actually other people in the back causing all this, and to his eventual leaving of Ring of Honor and him not being in the wrestling business for a year now. So he talks about that. He just talks about how it wasn't his fault. He did all this. He tried to set up a facility for Ring of Honor, a new school, an actual building, a regular building for them to go in. That's why they always went to Baltimore and Louisiana, I believe, because he had a facility there, and then they actually set up something. But when when Sinclair bought them out, when they're actually getting some momentum, Sinclair didn't help them out at all. And then Ring of Honor was just selling tickets for way too high. That's when the attendance became so low, because they were about to sell out a 1,200 seated building, but people didn't want to pay that much for wrestling because they actually didn't know the product. So he wanted them to lower the price so more people could have their eyes on the product, which eventually they could raise the price, but that was not the case of that. That's why a lot of the shows of Ring of Honor have been drawing so low, because a lot of the markets they go to, people know them, but people don't want to spend that much money on wrestling because, like he said, you could go to SmackDown for a cheaper price than going to a Ring of Honor show sometimes on the ticket prices they actually sell for front row and all that stuff. And why would you want to spend that much money if you're just a casual fan and you don't really like indie wrestling, versus going to an actual WWE fully produced show for the same price and having much more actual entertainment, but Ring of Honor having the better wrestling out of the two. He mostly skips over Kevin Steen at all. He doesn't really talk about him. But on his Jim Cornette Experience, which he has a podcast on MLW.com, he does a whole 30-minute rant on, not 30-minute, a 20-minute rant on Kevin Steen, talking about his side of the story, which counters the Kevin Steen shoot. When he talks about that the only reason they took it off was because of the Jim Cornette controversy, which the people that released the DVD, Ring of Honor executives, didn't even know about because they were clueless about. So after a couple days of it being released, they took it off the shelves, they took it off production, they took it off everything to re-release it again, and for a day, which they took it off once again. And Jim Cornette had problems with the person in Ring of Honor, and then 1 week later, lo and behold, the Kevin Steen shoot is back available for sale because that person has a problem with Jim Cornette. That's why they put it back on sale, and that's why you can buy it at ROHWrestling.com. So if you want to go listen to that interview with Jim Cornette, you can listen to it for free at MLW.com. So speaking of the Cornette shoot, Kevin Steen did a couple series of shoot interviews last year. In 2013, he did a 2.5 hour interview with the High Spots. He did an interview with, I believe it was a 6 hour interview or 4 to 6 hour interview with Smart Mark Video, a more in depth interview than the High Spots one. And he doesn't go in depth from his career from 2011 to 2013. He kind of, it's more brief than anything else. He actually more in depth of his the beginning of his career and all that stuff. Like, he talks about stuff, but he doesn't talk about everything. He saves it for this Kevin Steen Hell Rising shoot interview, which is a 2 hour and 30-minute documentary type style shoot interview of someone asking questions, him answering them, starting from the time he leaves Ring of Honor to when he drops the title to Jay Briscoe. Everything in between. He doesn't pull punches, he doesn't hold back, and it's a great interview. There's actually, like, every time he talks about, like, a thing, like saying when he comes back to Ring of Honor, when he came back for Best in the World 2011, they show a little clip of him coming out and cutting the promo, and they show, like, they don't show full, like, if you ever watch a WWE thing where they talk about, like, for 5 minutes and then they show, like, the full match. They don't do that. They show, like say, like, a 2 to 5 minute clip max, and by the end of it, you could actually go to the other disc and go watch the full entirety of every single match and every single segment pretty much talks about. It's just a great shoot. I just highly recommend anyone who has watched, because I know a lot of people started watching Ring of Honor in 2010 and they heard this hype about Death Before Dishonor 8 with Tyler Black and David Richards. They heard about this final battle. When you went on people's YouTube page, you just hear the stupid music. You know why? I tagged El Jericho. You know, you remember that 2010 YouTube? If you used to listen, watch videos. You wanna know why I tagged El Jericho? Oh man, and that stupid music he used to play. That's the reason that thing has over 100,000 views, because every YWC Ring of Honor mark used to put them on their front page and had it autoplay once you click their channel. Anyways, it goes from the time he loses the match to him putting over Jay Briscoe, and this interview is shot the day after he dropped the title to Jay Briscoe. It doesn't even look like a shoot interview because it's actual nice background. It actually looks professionally, like super professionally done, like way better than High Spots. How High Spots in our video, and they just look. Sometimes they look so out of place. I'm like, how do you shoot this? Because I'm a media guy myself. I do a lot of filming, and then it's like, you couldn't adjust this. You couldn't make the background more nice. You can change the camera angles a bit. Just like I see the screenshot is too wide. It just, you don't get it on perfect. That's why when I look at these things, I'm like, who is Rob Feinstein the one recording and asking the questions? Is he doing both? It's like you gotta get one guy just strictly for the camera angles and all the cameras, just to get that stuff going. Anyways, I could go a rant on how shoot interviews should be 100 times better, but this Ring of Honor one was really, really well done, really, really good setup, because usually when people talk about stuff in shoot interviews, they don't have the rights to show the actual footage of stuff actually happening. But as for this shoot interview, they just have these little clips where you actually go back and actually watch it, and then you could go back on the actual DVD to actually go watch it. So for the price of it, it used to be $19.99, but they raised the price $5 more due to the high demand. This is a highly, highly recommended DVD for any Ring of Honor fan, new or old, to go buy just for the shoot interview alone. Is well worth it. He goes well in depth. He talks about all the matches he pretty much does, like when he defends the title, all the ideas he had for Scum and everything. And his favorite matches, some of them might surprise you on what his favorite matches were in his ROH title reign. And you pretty much own his whole entirety of his Ring of Honor title reign. I believe it stops at I think Final Battle 2012 is the last match on the DVD. I could be wrong because I don't have the DVD on me right now, but should I go get it? No, don't worry. You can go online and go check it out. That's pretty much that for the Kevin Steen shoot interview. So it's a complimentary piece if you get the Jim Cornette shoot interview and the Kevin Steen shoot interview and watch them both, and then listen to that MLW shoot interview. But Jim Cornette says himself that he wasn't going to make a big thing of Ring of Honor when he did that Breaking Kayfabe shoot interview for Kayfabe commentaries. But after you watched the Kevin Steen shoot and knew the whole backstory and everything, he pretty much shot down everyone and everything that was happening at the time while he was in the company and for Sinclair and all that. Jim Cornette talks about how they didn't have a proper HD camera until 2012, and Sinclair Broadcastings bought the company in 2011. That's how messed up it was, and stuff that no Ring of Honor fan even fathomed about. But both great shoots. Kevin Steen one, well worth it, just because you get so much content for such a good price. Because shoot interviews are like $20, $25 for shoot interview plus a crap load of matches you can watch. Well worth the price, I think. Anyways, the AJ Styles shoot interview, last but not least. AJ Styles leaving an Impact interview. This interview runs about 2.5 hours. And honestly, 45 minutes of the interview, you don't really need. He talks about a lot of things, but he doesn't really... The High Spots trailer makes it more misleading than anything else. You think you're going to get some dirt, you think you're going to get some burials of him burying people. No, you don't get any of that. You get him, like, it's great that AJ Styles, he loves TNA. He actually says we instead of TNA because he still thinks it's part of the company, which I now believe that this is all a work and he'll be back in TNA, because the way he talks about him, like, he doesn't really bury people because he'll say something bad about someone, but then he'll pull his punches back and like say positive. Like, he does that to Booker T. He does that about Kurt Angle. He does it about he praises Christian. He even praises Russo too, like a little bit. Like, he doesn't bury him at all. He says the only reason he did all this stupid thing because he was under a lot of stress, a lot of people coming to him, and that's why they were just random storylines getting thrown out there. Just the Claire Lynch thing is probably the most best thing on the shoot interview, and honestly, it's only 2 minutes long. Like, he talks about him making money, a little bit about what he would do in WWE if he was. I knew when I saw the High Splits interview when the guy asked him, "Does WWE even contact you?" I knew it would just a simple no, but the way they paused it, and I was like, was he really gonna go say yes? But I knew it was a no. It just seemed so obvious, because if that was the case, it'd be out on the dirt sheets very, very, very quickly. But yeah, just leaving Impact. If you're gonna pay the $50, if you really like this AJ Styles storyline and you really want to be informed about it, like all the behind the scenes stuff, yeah, you could go watch it. He talks about his contract deals, of what they did and what they didn't do. He's not mad about anything. He's a very content person, but it's good. Yeah, he's a nice guy, but it's like, for a shooting interview when you thought you were gonna get something, but it was something else. Somewhat underwhelming as a shooting interview. But if you bought the High Spots and you get two discs and a bonus DVD, I believe, yeah, it might be worth it. But for $15 for a video download, that was okay. It was like, for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, it killed my time. But will Was it worth what I thought it was going to be worth? No, I didn't. I didn't think it was going to be worth that. But that's just me. If you want to go check that out, you can go watch that yourself. But we're at the 400-minute mark. I talked about everything I can. I stumbled a lot throughout this episode. Please bear with me. If you have any, if you made it through this podcast, please hit the like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, just thumbs it down. If you listened to the whole thing, just comment. You comment saying you made it through the whole thing. I listened to the whole podcast. I listened to the whole podcast. Oh yeah, this was great. Oh, what do I think about this? Just or tweet me. You can tweet me. You can comment. You can like, dislike, you can favorite, you can unfavorite, you can download, you can not download. Do all that stuff. Thank you for listening to the podcast for what day is it today? January the 22nd of 2014. Tomorrow I'll be coming back with another different episode of the podcast where the Royal Rumble, strictly on the Royal Rumble match, and partially probably the event too. And next week, I won't be doing a review of Ring of Honor next week. I will be pretty much whatever comes about, I will be reviewing. If I watch any independent shows, I'll give those a review. But as of right now, nothing has come up. So next week's episode, next Wednesday will be Raw, SmackDown, Royal Rumble, Wrestlemania matches as always, network stuff, and any news to talk about in the wrestling world. So that is my little podcast for you today. Hope you enjoyed. That is all.